Hello everyone, in this video I am going to show you how to create this cute open letter with hearts illustration in the app IBS Paintex. So I am opening a UHD canvas and this is the color palette I am going to use. So in the first layer I am going to apply some greenish teal like color as a background. Make sure while using the bucket tool you switch to current layer option, and in the new layer I'm going to use the felt tip pen hard brush and I'm going to create the rectangle shape for that letter. So I'm going to use the kaleidoscope ruler with just 4 illustration so that I make the letter position at the center. So that's the main purpose I am switching on the kaleidoscope ruler. So now the letter is on the center of the canvas. So once I'm done, I'm going to zoom out and zoom out a little bit so that it looks bigger, and I'm just switching off it, the kaleidoscope ruler. So this is the letter, and so I just change the color a little bit and duplicating it 2 times. So this is going to be our bottom of that, the background of that letter, which is the backside part, and there are 2 front part, so I'm renaming them as top 1 and top 2. So you're gonna understand why I'm doing this now. So I'm just used that top 1 rectangle layer, and I'm using the eraser with the curve tool on. Now I'm going to erase a very minute stroke. So to get that stroke really in that shape, I'm using the curve tool. So now I erased like this. So the teal green like line you can see, that is the erased part, so there is nothing in that area. So now I'm selecting the top part using the magic wand tool and using the clear layer option. When I use that option, when I selected something, everything on that selection will get erased. So this is our first part, and I'm changing the color of this to beige color, and this is the second layer, which is top 2 layer that I have named. So moving to the top 2 layer, now I'm going to create one more shape. So for that, going back to the eraser tool with the same curve tool on, I am erasing like this with this shape, and now I'm going to select the top part, this one, using the magic wand tool and click on the clear layer option so that selection is erased. So now this is our top 2 part, and I'm going to change the color a little bit darker compared to the top 1 layer part, and this is how our letter looks now. So we need the top opening like shape. For that, before that, it looks the rectangle is more taller, so either you can use the perspective transform to reduce its height, or else you can simply use the eraser tool to erase like this, and using the magic wand tool just click on that area and click clear layer. So like this you can do in so many ways. So now I'm going to add the opening that foldable opening part of the letter like this, using the curve tool and felt tip pen hard brush. So like this, I just drawn and filling the space with the color. So our letter is ready. Now you can see why I created these many steps is this. So now I just feeling like it is too light, so I just changing the color of the second part, Now everything fit so well, looks like exactly a letter shape. So our bottom part, I just created a layer between the top two and bottom, the bottom part. So in this layer I'm going to draw the leaves. So continuously I'm not going to draw the leaves in only one layer. Instead I'm going to use multiple layers. I'm going to draw few leaves, flowers in this layer, and some other shape of leaves in another layer. So like that I'm going to create around 3 to 4 layers to draw these leaves part alone. You don't understand why I'm doing right now, so I'll explain that later. So here I'm drawing abstract leaves. So it's up to you what kind of flower leaf structure you want. You can try out different things, or instead you can simply fill the space with small big hearts, something like that, so it will look really cute and different. So here I'm trying the abstract leaves. So I'm on the second layer of the leaves. So this is the second layer I have created for the leaves, and here something like a seed or bud shape. So you can either use a normal brush, or you can use the circle tool on, so that you can create the exact round shaped buds. So here you can see in the first layer the leaves color looks a little bit lighter compared to the second one. So now I'm creating the new layer at the back behind the first two leaf layer, and I'm going to use a little more darker green shade with I'm going to use some bigger leaves and filling with the color. And here you can see the difference in the color shades between all these three leaves. So now again I'm going to create one more layer above the bottom letter layer, and here again I'm going to draw some other abstract leaves with flower. So also I have changed, which means I have increase the darkness of that green color, so like this. Okay, I'm filling this with some same green. Now I'm going to create the flower shape. So either you can use the circle tool on and create this, or just simply increase the brush size. Since we are using the felt tip pen brush, it gives round shape by default. So like this, just tap, do like that, and here is your flower. Okay, this looks cute. Now I feel like I want to add some more, so I'm going to create one more layer. So here what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw the heart. So I'm using this red color and using the felt tip pen heart brush and using the kaleidoscope ruler. So I want to make sure the shape comes out exactly. So I'm using the kaleidoscope ruler and bringing the heart layer to the top so that I can see the shape exactly. Now the heart shape is ready. I'm going to shrink them a little bit so that it looks cute, and I'm going to duplicate this 2 times. So I want 3 hearts. So one is going to be here behind the leaves, so it won't be that much visible, but still I'm placing it there, and I'm placing it below all the leaves. And now coming back to the second heart, I'm just tilting it like this on the right side and keeping it above the leaves, which means not, and the layer is going to be below the leaves, but I'm placing it at the top and like this. Then for the third heart, it's going to be still more smaller, and I'm tilting it on the left side, placing like this. Okay, it looks good. So clicking the tick symbol, and now these two hearts didn't merge, so I'm going to merge these two leaves and leaving the first heart as it is. So our basic shapes and everything is ready. Now I'm going to add, I feel like this part is really empty, it shows the background, so I'm adding few more small leaves with lighter green color like this. Okay, now it's ready. Now I'm going to duplicate this bottom layer and create the shadow for this letter. So for that, I'm just changing the color of that duplicated letter to black, and using the transform tool, I'm just moving it a little bit so that I can create the shadow. So now I'm using the Gaussian filter, Gaussian blur filter. Now you can see the difference between the before and after I'm using the Gaussian filter. It really shows some kind of shadow. So I want to add some paper texture to the letter, so I'm using dirty paper material from the material section. I'm just placing like this and making the blending mode of the that layer as multiply, and I'm going to clip that layer so that it is applied only to the bottom part of the letter, and I'm duplicating that 2 times for the top 1, top 2 letter parts. Now it looks perfect. So now going to the leaves part. So before that, it looks like we have so many layers. If we have so many layers, the processing going to be slow, so I just merged the layers, and now you can see I'm going to add some shadows, color variations to the bottom part as well as the top part of the letters. So I just use the clipping layer with the multiply blending mode and using the airbrush to create this shadow. Make sure you apply little by little. If you feel like it looks heavy shadow, like something like that, use the force fade option and keep that opacity of the brush almost minimum so that it didn't create more darker shade. So now I forgot to change this layer blending mode. Okay, for the top part I'm going to create the shadow as well. You don't want to be like more similar kind of look. You can create something more darker at one side and lighter at the another side, and create a patchy look by tabbing the brush here and there, so it looks more realistic. So now going back to here, I'm adding some more darkness. So here you can see I'm adding like a patches shadow here and there, so it looks like a more crumpy kind of letter. Okay, now I'm going to create the shadow for the leaves. So for that I'm going to duplicate all the leaves and heart layer, and then I'm going to do the same process which I have done for the bottom letter to create that shadow. So here you can see I switched on the alpha lock for that layer, and then using the black color special lasso fill tool, I just colored it like this, and switch off the lasso, alpha lock. Then using the transform tool, I'm just moving it a little bit on the right bottom, and using the Gaussian filter here. So I'm using 20 pixel. Now you can see some kind of shadow behind the first leaf. So I'm going to do the same process for all the other leaves as well. So if you don't understand, again I'm going to show you. Click on the alpha lock for that duplicated layer, add color like this. Then you can see I just made the top layer as invisible so that you can understand. So now I'm moving it a little bit. Here you can see I moved like this, not more, just a little bit, and then using the Gaussian blur filter here we got the shadow. And make sure whenever using any kind of filter, Gaussian filter or glue or whatever it may be, make sure you switch off the alpha lock before doing that filters or blurring process and everything, because when you click on the alpha lock and if you do that apply any filter, it will not give the result, because alpha lock, when we switch on the alpha lock, the details will be only applied to the shape that is already existing. So make sure you do that, otherwise you will get confused why I'm not getting the filter output, something like that. So I am doing the same process repeatedly for all the layers. Now I'm using the Gaussian filter. Here is the shadow. So I almost completed the shadow for all the leaves, and now I'm going to apply the same thing for the hearts as well. So since the first heart is not that much visible, you may not see any difference while applying the Gaussian filter, but when we move to that second and third heart, you can see the difference. So I'm just moving it a little bit to the top right side, so something like this, and using Gaussian filter. Now the shadow part is over. Next we're going to apply some texture to the leaves as well as for the heart. So we have already finished the texture part for the letter. Now it's time for the leaves. So what I'm going to do is, above all the leaves, I'm going to use the drawing paper texture. So this is available under the material pattern gray. So you will get the texture like this. So I want this drawing paper texture only to my leaves, not for the heart. So what I'm going to do is, I just change it blending mode of the layer to linear burn, and then reduce the opacity of that layer. Now I'm going to create the folder which contain all these leaves and its shadow part. How to do that? Just go to the top leaf layer, create add folder, then a folder is created. Just drag them above and below of that folder so that everything comes under that folder. So now you can see all the leaves layers came under that folder, and I just use the clipping option for that folder by clicking on that texture layer and making it clipping. So next I'm going to do the same thing for the hearts. I'm going to add this texture, wrinkle paper texture, to the hearts. So I'm just duplicating it and then moving that to the first heart as well. So here is our texture for the heart. So I feel like I want to add some more shadow for the first leaves before in front of the first leaves, so that I'm creating a multiply blending model layer, a clipping layer for that leaf, and then using airbrush filter brush and added that. So now I feel like the drawing looks little bit on the top and more space on the bottom. So clicking on the canvas option from the transform tool, using translation Y, I just move it little bit lower. I'm making it more center, and greasing its size using the zoom option. I just move the entire canvas. And since whenever if you want to move the entire canvas without disturbing any particular layer, just make switch off its visibility and do the thing for all other layers. So here I am going to create some darkness for the background. So I am just created a new layer with linear blending mode at the top of the bottom background layer, and using the kaleidoscope ruler and airbrush I just created the shadow like this. Okay, now it looks like a 3D one. So switching off the kaleidoscope ruler, so see, I feel like we have to add some more texture to that. So going to the material pattern gray again, I'm going to use noise grain style texture. So here it is. Adjust the tile so that it fits as per your requirement, and changing the blending mode of that layer to multiply and reducing its opacity. This is how it looks. I want to add some glow to my art, so created a new layer above all the layers, and I'm just making the blending mode of that layer as add, and using the airbrush brush and using beige like color to create this glow. So I'm not going to add for entire canvas, I'm adding here and there, creating some glowy finish to the leaves, flowers, heart, letter, everything. So I'm going to add here like this. So I'm just skipping the shading part further. So now this is ready. I feel like I want to make the letter looks more pop out from the background. So I just created a new layer with add blending mode at the bottom of that leaf letter layer, and adding the same glow effects there. Now you can see the difference, how the art look now. So adding some more shadows, yellowish, not shadow, it's highlight. Okay, like this, and my art is ready. If you like this tutorial, subscribe to my channel and check out all the videos, and follow me on my Instagram page, and you can also text me on my Instagram. You can tell what kind of art you want. So thank you for watching.